Previously on Battlestar Galactica.
You non-coffee drinkers, I don't understand you. What do? Go to bed early enough and get a good night's sleep? Hey there, YouTube. This is Brendan, aka Cliffjumper, wishing you a warm welcome back to the channel. And it's been an interesting week in my family. We've had some family dynamics and situations that have put me a little bit behind in my normal video production schedule, but I hope you will forgive that, as we've got some special things to present to you this week that are maybe not necessarily all car related. As you know, and I've shared before, I've got ADHD, so squirrel. I like to talk about different subjects. So this week, we are going to be doing some car stuff. I'm also going to have a video that has nothing to do with car anything, unless you happen to be filming car videos. But you might be filming videos of other sorts, and that video about making videos will apply to everybody fairly equally. So I hope that you tune in and check that one out. In the meantime, why don't you grab a cup of your favorite brew, relax, settle in as we get into something just a little different this week. I've been filming many weeks ahead of when I actually release videos, so the timing on them is always a little weird, and I've tried to train myself to not make time-sensitive comments about when I am filming, like, oh, the election is going on, or oh, it's Christmas, or whatever, because I might not actually release the video for several months while I'm working on other things. So some of these videos I've actually filmed quite some time ago, and I'll be releasing them as I get into that. But just to let you know what I've been working on, a few people have been asking me, what's the deal with the Corrado and the supercharger? Do you have it on yet? No. I am still waiting for my software to show up. I've got everything I need to bolt on the supercharger except the software package. Now, I had ordered the software already from a supplier who will remain unnamed for the moment. And they're, like many other companies, just kind of trying to balance a lot of different bouncing balls during this pandemic. And so I'm giving them some leeway. I have not received my chip. So as soon as I get the chip and I have every piece that I need in hand, then we will be diving in and actually doing that work. I've not started it yet, other than getting the proper belt for the supercharger. Everything else is ready to go. The other thing I will be doing in preparation for that, or maybe at the same time, is replacing the motor mounts, because the car still has the original 200,000 mile motor mounts on it, and those are just mush at this point. The supercharger would not go well with those. So we're putting on some BFI motor mounts, and we will be throwing on the supercharger at the same time. I'm trying to think what else is going on with the Corrado. That's about it for now. I'm doing a little bit more work underneath, routing some different brake ducting and air ducting to the transmission cooler. Yes, it is still an automatic slush box in there, but I think the supercharger might help accelerate its eventual demise. And that will give me the impetus that I need to install the manual 6-speed transmission that is just waiting in my garage to go into the car. So that is another long-term project that will be coming down the pipeline maybe sometime this year. We'll see how long the automatic holds in there. I don't know. Anybody's guess. I'm also going to be doing a little video on the R32. I recently picked up a piece of body kit for it to go along with the rest of the Maxton design side skirts that we've put on the car and the Mk4 R front lip. Now I have the Maxton Wing, which ironically is from a completely different model of Volkswagen, and it fits on there really nicely. So I'm going to be showing that to you shortly as well. I think that's the one we're going to start with today. We're going to go over to the R32, check out the Maxton Wing. I'll show you what it looks like. It does have a mild functional purpose to it, so it's not just a body tack on that is completely cosmetic and useless, like some of these giant things that people put on their cars that don't ever actually see the track. I actually drive on the track. I am an instructor at Willow Springs International Raceway, as well as at Buttonwillow, California Speedway, and Streets of Willow. I've not yet instructed at Laguna Seca, and it's been a while since I've driven on Laguna Seca, so I probably need to go refamiliarize myself with that track before I venture into instructing there as well. But I've been instructing for about 10 years. I've been racing for a long, long time, and my R32 does see the track. So I have a combination of things on the car that are just cosmetic and for personal enjoyment, and then there are some race car things on there as well. And this wing falls into both. So let's go check it out. So here we are with my 2004 Mk4 R32. And as we previously discussed, I recently got a piece of aerodynamic kit for it that wasn't actually meant for this car. There's a great company, I really like their stuff, called Maxton Designs. They make things like these side skirts, which fit wonderfully and perfectly. There's even a 3-piece part that goes along the back of the car that fits the cutouts around the exhaust here. And they're molded to be added simply with 3M body molding tape. Now at the front, I don't have the Maxton piece because I've got a Mk4 R lip from, well, I think I got this when the car was almost new. I've had it for a very long time, and it does its job very well. But there wasn't really a piece that I liked that fit the rear wing. They have a piece that replaces the rear wing, but I like this little winglet approach because the rear wing does have some function on a race car. And the deal is, aerodynamically speaking, people don't really think about this because it's, you know, it's just a Mk4, it's not a big deal, but this is actually a very aerodynamically efficient car. In fact, there was a Volkswagen commercial back in the day, famously comparing it to a Porsche. And in this commercial, they had a Volkswagen GTI ripping across a desert, and from a bug's eye perspective, the GTI comes towards the screen, and it says the GTI might not seem more aerodynamic than a Porsche. And it goes, zoom, and you know, you kind of like the bug flies around in the air. It says, but then you're not a bug, and here comes the 911, and the bug splats across the 911's windshield. So of course, Porsche had a response ad to that, and they advertised their 911 Turbo with the moniker, "Kills bugs fast." So good fun back and forth there. Now the R32 is fairly aerodynamic. Adding a few little bits of piece actually help with the ground effect and a little bit of downforce suction on the track. The wing, the whole purpose of this wing on the back is to detach airflow from the body so that it doesn't create a giant eddy right here, which creates drag on the back of the car. In this little winglet approach that Maxton and several other companies have taken allow the air to get kicked up right here, and the eddies dissipate out here into space rather than collecting here as much and creating this big suction force. So that's the idea. There is a mild amount of downforce that this also creates here, and I'm just going to say mild because it's not gigantic. Certainly at speeds of 100 miles an hour plus, everything is exponential, and so the amount of downforce, even a little winglet like this, does create quite a bit. Like on the Corrado, which I got my Corrado covered up right now, the factory wing actually elevates slightly into the airflow to create more downforce, and it is a significant amount of downforce, exponentially the faster you go. So on a track, just a little winglet like this can be very helpful for keeping your vehicle's stability at speed. Now this wing is designed for a Mk7 GTI, not a Mk4. And the idea is the Mk4, they want you to remove the whole factory wing, and then there's a replacement thing that bolts on, and it's big, and it's a pain in the butt because these do not come off easily, and they usually damage the paint when you do that. I wanted just something that would go on in its place and look good and be functional. So it sticks on there. It fits the curves really nicely. And I will say it's not a perfect installation. I just did a quick and dirty, cleaned up my wing, my factory wing, so it would have a good place to stick to, stuck it on there just to see how it would fit. It turned out there was a little extra body molding tape sticking out, maybe a half an inch, and so I trimmed that off simply with an X-Acto knife so I wouldn't have all this adhesive collecting dirt and starting to look ugly. But this is version 1.0 of the fitting. Version 2.0, I'm going to address one concern, and that is the curve here is just slightly different than the Mark IV. However, this is flexible plastic, so I can take a heat gun and bend this just slightly, and I think with, because there's also no body molding tape out here at the end, if I just extend the body molding tape line all the way out, then when I install it, this is going to sit perfectly right there on both sides. You can see it on this side as well. It just lifts just slightly. It's not quite lined up there. So that is the only problem with this wing. It's almost a perfect fit. And it matches the curves really nicely on the back of the car. It has a good look. It's not crazy aggressive. It just sort of fits. So anyway, these wings are not terribly expensive. I'll drop a link in the description. I do understand that at the time of filming right now, they are on back order from Maxton for most suppliers. But if you're creative, you can probably find one out there. And if you have the means, I highly recommend it. So hope you enjoyed that. God bless. Tune in, subscribe, like. See you soon. Bye-bye. Drop me a comment here. You can shoot me a direct message. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. You know, you can hunt down my email off of my church website. I am a pastor at Quest Church San Diego. That's questsd.com, and you can find me there. So anyway, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you had fun watching this video. See you soon. Bye-bye.
But wait, there's more!
If you wouldn't mind checking out my Drive Tribe articles that I've written, head on over there. You can search for my name. I've written a few articles about various car experiences. I'd love for people to read my stuff. And of course, if you want to partner with me on Patreon and help sponsor me so that I can keep putting out great content, for many of the videos that we're doing, replacing parts, doing DIY projects, how to do stuff at home, I want to provide that material for you, and hopefully you find it fun and encouraging and inspiring, and at the very least mildly entertaining. But thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and I'm going to just leave you with a few more happy Wookiee noises as I accelerate out of here.